Today, I want to share something incredibly powerful that can revolutionize your English learning experience. Reading. I know some of you might be thinking that reading is dull, but let me explain why it's not only enjoyable, but also a vital tool for achieving true fluency in English. Imagine wanting to speak English with the confidence of a native speaker. You wish to engage in conversations effortlessly, understand movies without subtitles, and express yourself authentically. Reading is one of the most effective ways to achieve this. It's not merely about looking at words on a page. It's like entering a magical realm where you acquire new vocabulary, grasp grammar, and learn to converse like native speakers. Reading acts as your personal English teacher, available anytime. Each time you open a book, story, article, or even a comic, you engage in a mini lesson without even realizing it. The words you encounter, the sentences you read, and the ideas you absorb all contribute to building a robust English vocabulary and the confidence to speak freely. For instance, if you read about a girl visiting a new country, you'll learn various English terms related to places, emotions, and events. The best part? You're learning effortlessly. It's fun, engaging, and feels natural, like watching a movie unfold in your mind. One remarkable aspect of reading is that it familiarizes you with English sentence structures. Instead of memorizing grammar rules, you observe grammar in action. For example, when you encounter sentences like "he was running quickly" or "she decided to go to the park," your brain begins to understand how English operates. You don't need to study grammar rules because you see them applied correctly repeatedly. Here's the big secret. The more you read, the less you have to think when speaking. Your brain starts to retain the patterns and phrases you encounter in stories, and when it's time to converse, the right words come out naturally, almost like magic. Reading expands your vocabulary. Every time you read, you discover new words to add to your collection. Think of it as gathering special tools for use whenever needed. If you read a story about a jungle, you might learn words like wild, explore, adventure, or mystery. These aren't just mundane words from a textbook. They are meaningful terms that help you create vivid imagery. When you share your own exciting stories, these words resurface, allowing you to express yourself better. Instead of saying, "It was fun," you can say, "It was an amazing adventure." Doesn't that sound better? Reading also helps you think in English rather than translating from your native language. A common challenge in learning English is thinking in your first language and then translating it. However, frequent reading enables you to think in English automatically. Picture this. You're engrossed in a simple story about a boy who loves soccer. You become so absorbed that you stop focusing on individual words and simply follow the narrative, picturing it in your mind. Gradually, without realizing it, you begin to think in English, making the language feel more natural. This is one of the most powerful ways to sound fluent and confident while speaking. Moreover, reading enhances your listening skills. You might wonder how reading can improve your listening. When you read, you become accustomed to English words and sentence structures, making it easier to recognize and comprehend spoken English. It's similar to listening to a new song. The first time it may seem unclear, but after a few listens you understand every word and beat. Reading works the same way for your listening skills. The more you read, the easier it becomes to understand English when spoken by others, be it friends, movies, or podcasts. Consider this: when you know something well, you feel confident, right? The more you read, the more knowledge you gain. You learn new words, comprehend English better, and feel prepared to engage in conversations. Imagine reading about someone with an intriguing job, like a chef in a high-end restaurant. The next time food comes up in conversation, you can say, "I read about this amazing chef who cooks the best dishes." Suddenly, you have something interesting to share, making you feel good. You're not just repeating what you learned in class. You're sharing unique insights you discovered on your own. How much should you read? You don't need to spend hours doing it. Just 10 to 15 minutes a day can make a significant difference. Find a time that suits you, perhaps in the morning, during lunch, or before bed. Start small and be consistent. Reading a little every day helps you build a strong habit, and over time, you'll notice your English improving without even realizing it. Think of reading as a journey. You can explore new places, understand different cultures, and meet diverse characters, all through the pages of a book. It's like traveling without needing a plane ticket. As you embark on this journey, you acquire new ways to speak, describe, and express yourself. Imagine cooking your favorite dish. Each ingredient enhances the flavor. Reading is similar. Every new word, phrase, and sentence adds richness to your English. When you read, especially stories and dialogues, you learn the kind of English people use in real life. In a textbook, you might learn phrases like, "Hello, how are you?" But in a story, you might encounter, "Hey, what's up?" or "How's it going?" These are the real expressions people use daily, and by reading, you become comfortable with them. Consequently, when you speak, you won't sound like you're reciting from a textbook. You'll sound natural, like a native speaker. So why start reading today? Now that you understand the myriad benefits, imagine how incredible it will feel to speak English confidently with a wealth of new words and expressions, without feeling shy. Reading is the simplest and most enjoyable path to achieving that goal. Find something that piques your interest, whether it's a story, article, or comic, and start reading a little each day. Here's a tip. Look for books, magazines, or blogs written in simple English to begin with. If you're still a beginner, choose materials designed for newcomers. They use easier words while remaining engaging. You're not just learning English, you're having fun too. One of the most amazing aspects of reading is the opportunity to collect new words. Imagine each new word as a treasure. You don't have to memorize them like a list. Instead, when you encounter a new word, pay attention to its usage. For instance, if you read "The sky was gloomy," you might deduce that gloomy means it's not very bright or cheerful. You can even maintain a word notebook to jot down interesting words you discover. However, remember that the goal isn't to memorize every word immediately. It's to become accustomed to seeing them. Over time, you'll notice these words reappearing, and you'll remember them effortlessly. For example, if you read a story where the little dog dashed across the yard, You learn that dashed means ran quickly. The next time you discuss running fast, dashed will come to mind naturally. It's like adding new tools to your language toolkit. While reading, pay attention to how sentences are structured. You don't need to worry about grammar rules. You'll start to feel them naturally, much like how children learn to speak by hearing others. You learn to speak correctly by reading correct sentences. Here's a fun exercise. Pick a simple sentence from your reading and create your own sentences using the same pattern. For instance, if you read, "She went to the store because she needed some milk," you might create, "He went to the library because he needed a book." This practice builds your confidence to speak naturally without translating in your mind. One of the great advantages of learning English through reading is the ability to switch things up whenever you want. Here are a few ideas to keep it fresh and exciting. Stories and novels. These are fantastic for immersing yourself in different worlds and expanding your vocabulary. Look for simple books, especially if you're a beginner. Children's books can be fun and easy to follow. Short articles and blogs. If you're short on time, read something brief. Blogs on hobbies, travel, food, or interesting facts are excellent choices, as they are written in simple English and can be both enjoyable and informative. Comics and graphic novels. Comics aren't just for kids. They feature images that help you understand the story, and the dialogues are straightforward. It's an easy way to see how conversations flow naturally. Magazines. Choose one on a topic you love, be it sports, technology, or fashion. They usually contain short, easy-to-read articles filled with useful phrases. One of the biggest obstacles people face when speaking English is confidence. We often worry about using the right words or correct grammar, and this fear can sometimes lead us to avoid speaking altogether. This is where reading becomes your secret weapon. As you read frequently, you constantly observe how sentences are structured, how emotions are conveyed, and how people communicate in real-life situations. The more you read, the more you absorb these patterns. It's as if your brain fills up with the rhythm of English without any effort. You'll find yourself speaking more naturally, using expressions you've encountered in books or articles. You won't just memorize English, you'll start to feel it. For example, you might read a sentence like, "I'm over the moon about this new job," and without realizing it, you might say, "I'm over the moon," the next time you're excited. It's fun, expressive, and gives you that authentic English sound that builds confidence. Try this, read a few sentences aloud occasionally. It's one of the most enjoyable ways to practice pronunciation and develop a good flow. You're training your mouth to form English words and getting a feel for how native speakers sound. It's like having a mini conversation with yourself, and it's incredibly effective. Here's a bonus tip. Choose a short, simple passage and read it aloud a few times until it feels natural. Then challenge yourself to recite it without looking. You'll notice your words flowing more smoothly, almost as if you're telling a story to a friend. Reading doesn't have to be limited to books. Incorporate English into your daily life in fun and unexpected ways. Try reading labels, street signs, or even brief instructions in English. It's a quick and easy way to expand your vocabulary. For example, while cooking, check out recipes in English or read the ingredients on a package. If you're interested in health, read about your favorite topics online. These little moments accumulate, and soon reading English will become as natural as breathing. Using stories to develop your style is another benefit of reading. Each time you read a story or article, you're cultivating your voice in English. Every author has a unique way of expressing ideas, and as you explore different styles, you begin to develop your own. You might find yourself inspired by how one author describes emotions or another's sense of humor. Over time, you'll naturally borrow phrases, expressions, and storytelling techniques from the authors you admire most. Before you know it, you'll be speaking and even writing in English with a style that feels uniquely yours. For instance, if you love how a particular author uses humor, you might find yourself adopting funny expressions and light-hearted language, making conversations more engaging and personal. Reading is also a fantastic way to spark creativity. The ideas you encounter can inspire you to think in new ways, helping you learn English while also making you a more interesting person. As you explore the world, your curiosity grows. You might even start reading in areas you hadn't previously considered, such as science, travel, or art. Imagine reading about the Northern Lights in an article. You're learning English while also discovering something beautiful about the world. These nuggets of knowledge provide fascinating topics to discuss with friends, enriching your conversations. So here's the ultimate takeaway. Reading isn't just a tool, it's a gateway. It's neither boring nor a chore. It's a journey leading you to a world filled with new words, cultures, ideas, and a deeper connection with English. Each time you read, you're taking one step closer to fluency, one sentence closer to confidence, and one book closer to becoming the English speaker you've always aspired to be. Reading seamlessly combines grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, and fluency in a way that feels enjoyable and organic. So pick up that book, scroll through that article, dive into that story, and let reading take you further than you ever imagined. I am the creator of English Learning Hub. If you find my channel useful, please subscribe to me. Thank you for your support.